It's gotta be Kane from the Monday Night War line, the cursed line. Managed to get a hold of it. This was actually a pre-order that they actually sent eventually. I mean, a few months after everybody else found it in the stores. But a few interesting things to note on this one. Especially since the match on the back that it references is from the year 2000. So I feel like he actually had like his inverted attire or something at some point before this, and then went back to his more standard look, but with the mesh added bit. So we want to build the Golga Build-A-Figure, so I had to get this Kane, but Kane's always a worthwhile one to get a hold of anyway. I do have a Kane collection that kind of exceeds my usual limits of my collection. It's kind of funny because I think originally they wanted Kane to just have a kind of leather, like standard mask instead of like a colorful superhero designy one. So I almost wonder if the Golga-ish mask might have been a Kane mask in an alternate timeline. Looks like he comes with the kind of accessory holding hands as the alternate. In the package, open hands. Maybe for a choke slam or doing the pyro or just a good old throat thrust as well. And my usual heavy defect version that I always get when I order like this. Really good with the eyes here, although I don't know if he was still doing the different colored eyes at this time period since it was like 2000 this is supposed to be from. Already teaming with like the American Badass Undertaker coming out on the motorcycle. This is definitely later Kane here before he maybe went to the tank top attire that was even more mesh, which that's kind of the difference here with the attire, is that this is supposed to be like, you know, a mesh here that like the skin showing through. I've seen it done better earlier. There was like, I think they were called R3 or Tech something figures, and they literally had like a mesh like texture to it, and maybe it was less like a black wash or something, but it was way better with the detail. So just doing this like slightly different skin color is a little lame in my opinion. And maybe it should have been molded in some way to look more like it. So great that they did this one. I just feel like this is probably the laziest way to do it. It is on the back there too. But he has all his other bits like the silvers and everything detailed all throughout the attire and gloves. I didn't have the stitched side to the pants, he just has this design. Like the Ultimate Edition here, we can see on the side it has like the stitching. So that is accurate for the one this is going for. But I really like the Ultimate Edition's like alternate head like here with the hair back so you can see more of the mask. I think they kind of overuse this one. I think this one would have really benefited if they would have just used this head just for something different looking, because they use this standard one a lot. I don't know if some of the Ultimate heads they try to keep only in the Ultimate line or something to try and make it more exclusive, but I've seen them kind of reuse some of them for future elites in like different attires. And then notably, of course, this is like a darker like red here. It's like very bright on a lot of the past Kane figures. This is probably a little more accurate in some ways to be a little more dull, but actually he still had a fairly bright red attire. I think his mask would get dark and then the attire stayed pretty light. So they might take note there that if you look at the pictures, his mask darkened over time, but the attire stayed pretty light. So I mean, I get the matching, you know, you want it to match, but the mask is actually maybe too bright of red, possibly, unless we're kind of going very early Kane here. We also don't have like the red or the black around the eyes, so it gives it a different look. I'm pretty sure he probably still did a little bit of face paint, because even up to when he unmasked, he used a little face paint around the eyes to make it blend with the mask. That just might be an omission at that point, but it does give it a different look because of that. Almost like, I think he looked like that in like the WWF Attitude game, but I mean that was way, way before 2000 like this one's supposed to be from.
I will punish you!
He actually has like the glossy boots that the Ultimate Edition doesn't have, so that's actually maybe a detail above. I think he always just had glossy boots. I don't know why this one didn't get them. But Kane's storied attires, I mean, it was only like a pretty short span of years, like some of these masked appearances, but it gets a little hard to follow sometimes, especially with a lot of Kane Mandela effects that go around people like imagining stuff. Probably playing too many of those video games and switching attires and stuff. I know I probably turned him back into this attire in like my WWF No Mercy game instead of the tank top, and use that more just because I like it more. So we started using this mesh one earlier than 2000, so it's still good for, not sure when exactly I started doing the mesh, like in 1999 or something, when you really started doing that, so you could maybe do an X-Pac and Kane with that. It's just kind of weird that they jumped all the way to 2000 with like American Badass Undertaker match. This is just an Elite figure, but it's got like the ultimate toe articulation. So I don't know if that was just like an oopsie, like threw that on there. Little bonus, I guess. But it's just supposed to be an Elite figure. He had the mesh in the WrestleMania 2000 game, which would have been like looks and things from the year 1999. There was kind of jump ahead a year there. So it is interesting they just chose that instead of an earlier time. Maybe because they perceived it as a brighter red back then and they felt it was more muted in color. In the year 2000? I don't know, interesting, but I got it because I needed the Build-A-Figure part. But I feel like this is probably going to get done better in the future. Like possibly some kind of Legends or Ultimate or something, like another Kane, just because they know it's a popular one to do and maybe a better detail for that mesh. I don't know if it's a Mandela effect thing, but I thought he always had some mesh on the pants at some point. But I might be inventing things in my head now. And he had a mesh mask and everything. I'd like to see this one tackled again, really, but helps with my Kane lineup. I have a video where I show like all my Kane figures I had at the time, and I've added some since then. Typically collecting the later 90s into 2000 a little bit here. Maybe up until the point WCW was gone. I'm a little fuzzy on my cutoff there, but I'm trying to not let it creep too much one way or the other. Trying to keep it inside that time period, the Monday Night War. If those are the ones you want to see, you'll want to stick around right here, and I'll see you in the next video.